October is mass feeding session, especially here in London. There are a lot of events that happen in October, and it's also Black History Month. And I was reflecting on the system and how it siphons energy. And because of the times that we're in, as well as the time of year and the season, they use certain tactics to siphon energy from the masses. When you attend an event that's big, it's got a lot of people, like a performance, like an artist. There's a word I'm trying to think of, but they're holding it back for me. But when you perform like a concert, if you go to a concert or a big production or church, or even like, I'm saying this because it occurred to me because I recently was going to attend the Black British Book Festival, and it was going to be packed, it was booked out, and I decided not to go from wise advice that I received from somebody. But they said that this is like, be conscious of the seasons in which you go out and then participate in public arenas or events, because they're siphoning energy. Then it occurred to me that the way they siphon energy is different depending on the race. So, and this occurred to me because I was in an area where there were football fans, and they're all white. And I realized that they want, football encompasses a lot of violence, and like you hear about like hooligans and stuff like that. They actually they love when these white men get riled up, when they get all the energy, and when they're like really going for something, when they're shouting and screaming because that all of the chemicals in their body are reacting and adrenaline's running through their blood. The system, the governments, those harnessing the energy, they like that type of energy. They feed that energy into the system. The way that the arenas are designed, the way the football stadiums are designed, it's designed to pull all that energy in and send it either underground or overground, send it to the source of the system. So there's a location where they're harnessing all its energies. We have to do our investigation as to where this energy is going. But like, I'll go back to the topic. But white people use when they protest, when they get together, when they get angry, when white people get angry, they kill people. They become violent. They kill a lot of people. So this is why you'll find the system loves the energy, but they just manage it. They don't like stop it sometimes. They just manage it. So you'll get police who will line up around them or line along the road, but they won't stop them from doing what they want to do because they're using that energy. They need that energy. That's what they're trying to harness. So when white people get angry, they kill and they become violent. When black people get angry, they destroy everything. They will bring it down. They don't tend to kill. There is obviously on all races, there is some violence in that sense. But black people will burn the whole thing down. Now, it doesn't matter where it is, even their own homes or locations, they will destroy everything. The governments and those people, those in power who control, who harness this energy, where this is all this human energy is funneling to, they will use that. They will use the energy, but they can't control it. So it's like too much for them to handle. And then obviously the cost of it, so that's why they heavily control black protests. Because when we get angry, we don't kill other people. We will steal things and we'll destroy everything. That's how we operate. We don't go from... So that's why black people being angry is villainized. They hate it. They hate it when we're angry, because we will destroy your system. That's as simple as that. You make us angry, we'll destroy everything. So they try to control us as much as possible. And our energy will go to the system. Yes, they'll funnel it, but then they can't handle all of it. And it will actually destroy the system in overall. So I've always said to people, don't be ashamed to be angry. This is not for these men who are like overly angry and harm people. Not that situation. And not the white people who go and be violent and kill people and do all the weird craziness that they do. But for the black people, and if you're in a healthy anger, like an anger for change, anger for a difference, like use that energy, transmute it into actually making change, like focus it on action, how you can overcome the situation that you're in. Now be very careful embracing your anger, because, like I said, they target us heavily. They will try and use it. And what they tend to do is they'll send an attack. So you'll get angry over something that bad that's happened to you, and that the devil will, or those in power, they will use it. They'll send an attack to either take your anger, like the energy that you have, or to like weaken you. So be very careful. We have to be very strategic how we use our emotions as melanated people, because the system is designed to control us and take our energies. Now, I'll go back to what I'm talking about in terms of the events that are happening. So the Black History Month, there was the British Book Fair. All the so what they do, this is what I was trying to get to. Instead of black people being angry, I'm gonna have to, sorry, there's so much coming to me right now. So what they do, they don't like to use black people's anger. They don't know how to control that. So they keep it in the box. They control us and try to stop us from being too emotional in any which way and they'll send attacks to us when we get to that stage. But what they love from black people, and I know this is counterintuitive, but they love to harness our joy and our creativity. They steal that energy. So when we come together, like this Black British Book Festival or Black History Month or any of these events, when black people are happy, it's like the sun comes out. We actually control the sun, but that's another video altogether. But yeah, there is like a high vibration. There is like so much energy. There's joy. There's laughing. They can't stand it, but they use it. So that's why you'll see that like sometimes you get very happy and suddenly you're like really depressed or sad. It's because they're using that energy. Thankfully, we black as melanated people have an endless supply of happiness, but they obviously try to control that by the media that they show us. You have to learn about like not focusing your energy on good media and not bad things. Because if you start looking at the negative, depressive things, as a black person, you absorb that and you create that reality, because we have the ability to create realities. So, and it's based off what we see. That's the trick. Like, that's the trick that they did on us. The white man put a spell of creating images and we created it with our minds, where we're meant to create the reality ourselves and focus on ourselves. So start to create, this is another video, but start to create images that you want to see, like the world you want to live in. Because that's the best way to protest. Instead of going out into the streets and using your anger, just imagine the world you want to exist in, and womb-fest it into reality. Womb-festing is what manifesting, but for women. We women are the ones who control the narrative of what we see. And as a black person, start cutting out all like non-black people images and media and videos and things like that. Start focusing on your own people, and that's what will become your reality, if that's what you want. So whatever you focus on will become reality. And I'm talking mostly to melanated women, because the men, well, I won't speak for them, but women are the ones who create things, not the men. So they use our happy energy and they siphon that energy off to the system, because they can't control us when we're angry. So you'll notice when Black Lives Matter happened, there were protests for a while, and they happened all around the world. Rarely would you see a white person get angry at a protest and it happens and it affects the whole world events. But black people have that power, and so they were heavily policing it. And you see how they had to give us, they don't give us any meaningful solution, but they'll give us something just to subdue us. They throw us something minor, something little, just to stop us from being angry. And what just occurred to me now is that white people, I don't know if they know how to feel joy. Because when I'm thinking of all the events where it's joyous, like I said, black people, melanated people, highly melanated people, when we come together, we have joyous events. Like, it's a celebration. We have fun. Like in America, the US, they have barbecues and family get-togethers, and it's all fun and it's celebration. There's dancing, there's music, there's art. It's everything. I cannot think of an instance when that happens in the white communities. The only time they seem to experience joy is when it comes to sports, and they can be like over the top and out there. Especially if there's violence, like boxing or arenas, like back in the gladiator times. They will love to watch violence, people killing each other, and they need to go out and find their fun. But it's not, that's not even when they're excited, they're happy. It's when their team wins. That's the only happiness I've ever seen from like white men and white women. Or I don't even know what the women celebrate, but the men, It's mostly when their team wins a match or something. And at least I can speak from my experience here in the UK. I don't know how it is in other countries, so I might only be speaking from one perspective. But I've never heard of like a big collection of white people celebrating something with joy, happiness. They dance. They don't do that. They don't have joy, and it's weird. But so anyway, that's what I was thinking about. So yeah, I think I covered it. Like I feel like I lost track, but I think I covered most of what it is. So they use white people's violence to energize their system, especially in this month of October where we're closest to the other realm of where Halloween happens. If I was advising myself, I'll say stay away from going out and participating in big events. It's a kind of a time that you should go indoors and start to reflect on life and be very relaxed and take your time and like relax in this series and rest. Also, this is a time when you should be preparing for winter. That's what we used to do back in the day. It was a time of preparation. As a melanated person, rest is the biggest protest you can do. Now, they'll try to disrupt you, but you have to rest. That's what I'm learning. You have to rest. And I'm learning now that I have to breathe because I know I don't breathe enough. But as I'm resting, I'm starting to learn that this is the case. And you get so many more downloads as you rest as well. And counter to beliefs, you make time. You're creating time as you rest. This is what Africans know. When you're resting, you're actually creating time. People feel they can't rest because they're going to lose time. Nope, it's the opposite. What they won't tell you is that you lengthen your life when you're resting. If you work yourself out, you burn out like a flame. So that's one thing they don't want to talk about. And then the other thing I wanted to add actually is that I realized there's another instance where white people show joy. So there's two instances I can think of. When their team wins a football match or a sports game, and when they're at concerts and they're shouting and screaming and giving all their energy to the performer. Those are only two instances I can think of. Now, another 2 points have occurred to me. One, black people, so I'm sure you're questioning, if you're a black person watching this, you're saying, well, if they like our joy, why do they try to oppress us so much? And the reason behind that is because when we become happy, everything changes. When we become happy, like I said about the sun earlier, when we become happy, the sun gets stronger, and they can't live in this world where the sun is strong. If you know what I mean. So they can't afford for us to be happy all the time, because everything will turn into like a heaven in which their bodies are not, and their skin is not tolerable to. And the other point I wanted to make is that white people's violence is not just reserved for other people of other races. What I think is going to happen is when black people remove themselves from the presence of white people, their violence will turn on each other. Those who know, they were designed specifically to do a certain task, and they don't know how to break that programming. When it comes to violence, when it comes to finding an enemy, they will always find one. So when black people are removed and they're not the object of their fascination, they will turn on each other, and there'll always be civil wars, and there'll always be like, it's like a race it's like a snake biting its own tail. That's what they are. Their time on the earth is very short, and they have come to do an assignment. And just because I know people are going to get at me, I'm not saying all of them are like that. Some of them have broken the programming, but they can't deny that was the programming from the beginning. They were designed that way. Those who are good have broken the programming, and as to how many of them there are, I would not take the risk, but it's down to everybody to do their thing. I just want to caveat this by saying this mostly applies to the UK black population. It can apply to America, but not the same trickster doesn't always use the same tricks. If they are trying to achieve a goal, they will incite black people's anger, usually to get them like to create like a martial law, or when the system is hungry, or the person up, the things up there feeding off us is hungry, it will incite black people to get our energy that we overproduce when we're angry, or when they want to incite the world. Because if you notice, when black people go through struggles, the whole world gets involved. So usually when they're hungry, they will incite black power. When they need to feed and they need more human energy, they will incite it, or to create some reality that they want, or reinforce something. Usually, if they want to destroy everything, then they will incite anger. So obviously, they use this according to what they're trying to achieve. So it's not always 100% the same situation or the same case. Obviously, you have to extrapolate as to how life is. Like, you never use the same tool to do all your work. You adjust it for whatever you need it for. So that's what I was going to add to that. So I don't know how long this video is, but that's going to be the video for now. So yeah, just to summarize, they use white people's violence and anger, and they use black people's joy, and they can't control black people's anger. So that's all I wanted to say.